In this video, I wanted to talk about tradition, a word that typically invokes a sense of comfort and stability. It conjures images of rocking chairs on porches, of family recipes, of timeless wisdoms passed down through generations. It feels safe, and when someone talks about traditional values, they are appealing to that feeling. They are presenting their position as a solid, immovable rock in a chaotic sea of change. But what if that rock isn't a foundation at all? What if it's an anchor? And what if it's not holding us steady, but rather it's dragging us to the bottom? The first, most fundamental problem with the appeal to tradition is that it's a logical fallacy. It's an argument from antiquity. The mere fact that a belief or practice is old does not make it true or good or wise. For centuries, we traditionally believed the earth was flat. We traditionally treated disease with leeches and prayers. We traditionally believed that kings ruled by divine right, and that some people were born to be property. Age is not a synonym for correctness. In fact, in science and in morality, in human understanding, age is more often a synonym for error. An old idea is simply an idea that has survived long enough to be challenged by newer, better ideas. To champion tradition for its own sake is to champion ignorance over progress. But let's go deeper than the logic. Let's look at what traditional values actually are when you dissect them. They are not a monolith. They are not a universal, timeless code. They are a specific, localized collection of social norms from a specific time and place. When people in modern America talk about traditional values, they are almost never referring to the traditions of feudal Japan or ancient Sparta or the indigenous peoples of the Amazon. They are referring specifically to the values of a particular dominant culture in a very particular narrow window of the 20th century, a time when a man's authority in his home was absolute. A time when a woman's options were limited to being a wife or a mother. A time when radical and sexual minorities were invisible at best. These aren't traditional values, they are mid-century American values, and they were designed to benefit a very specific group of people: white, heterosexual, Christian men. So when people say they want to return to traditional values, what they are really saying is, I want to return to a social hierarchy where I was on top. It's not a plea for morality, it's just a plea for power. And this is where the idea becomes not just illogical, but actively cruel. Because tradition is not a museum piece that we can just look at, it's a chain. And for millions of people, those traditional values were not a source of comfort, but rather a cage. They were a justification for denying women the right to vote, for segregation, for persecuting gay people, for telling children that they were sinful for being who they were. To look at the suffering of those people and say, yes, but it was our tradition, is not a defense of heritage. It's a defense of oppression. It is to say that the comfort of the powerful is more important than the humanity of the marginalized. And this brings me to the most important point, the one that gets lost in all of the shouting. Human beings are not meant to be static. We are not meant to be museum exhibits, perfectly preserved in the amber of the past. Our entire nature, our entire greatness as a species is built on one thing: adaptation. We are the species that left the cave. We are the species that built the cities. We are the species that looked at the sky and stopped seeing gods and started seeing physics. We are defined by our ability to learn, grow, to change, to throw off the old ideas when they no longer serve us. To cling to tradition is to rebel against our own nature. It is to look at our greatest strength, our ability to evolve, and call it a weakness. So no, I don't respect tradition. I don't revere it. I see it for what it is. A collection of old ideas. Some are beautiful, like the tradition of telling stories to our children. But some others are benign, like the tradition of eating turkey on a certain Thursday in November. But many of them are poison. They are remnants of a more ignorant, more fearful, more unjust time. And our job as thinking, compassionate, and forward-thinking people is to not preserve them. It is to identify and dismantle them, and to build something better in their place. Something based not on the accident of our birth, but on the conscious, deliberate choice to be kinder, smarter, and more free than the generations who came before us. That isn't disrespecting the past, it's honoring the future.
Feel